Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're taking everyday kitchen waste and, well, turning it into some pretty powerful plant-saving science. Have you ever looked at a struggling plant in your garden and thought it was completely a lost cause? Today, we are going to completely flip the script on how you handle garden rescues using absolutely nothing but the scraps you'd normally throw straight in the garbage. So, what do you do when your tomato plant starts dying? Picture it. The leaves are turning that awful pale yellow, the stems are just drooping toward the dirt, and the flowers have totally closed up. Most of us, we grab a shovel, rip the plant out, and toss it in the compost pile. But here's the fascinating part science has revealed. In almost every case, that plant probably isn't dead yet. It's actually just starving. It has depleted one or two specific nutrients that the soil can no longer provide. To fix that, here is our survival guide for today's Explainer. First, rescuing plants with kitchen waste. Second, the magic from onion peels. Third, the miracle of rice water. Fourth, pulling nitrogen from veggie scraps. Fifth, brewing a proper manure tea. And finally, the keys to success. Let's kick things off with Section 1, Rescue Plants with Kitchen Waste, or as I like to call it, the hidden treasure in your trash. You know, it's wild, but you can actually rescue a dying plant in just 48 hours using the everyday scraps sitting on your kitchen counter right now. University soil labs have actually proven that these zero-cost liquid fertilizers work. I mean, Amish and Mennonite farmers have relied on this stuff for generations. So why hadn't you heard of it? Well, the commercial lawn care industry kind of quietly pushed these methods aside. Let's be real, you can't exactly make a massive profit selling a banana peel, right? But the truth is, these natural methods often work way faster than commercial products because they deliver the missing nutrients in a liquid form the plant can literally absorb almost immediately. Moving right along to Section 2. Magic from onion peels, the ultimate nutrient brew. Okay, before you toss another onion peel in the trash, let's talk about what it's actually worth. People know that the thin, papery brown skin of an onion is absolutely packed with potassium, calcium, magnesium, and iron. But here is the fatal mistake a lot of gardeners make. They just bury the peels right in the dirt. Now, what's the real difference between burying onion peels and brewing them into a tea? If you bury them, it takes weeks for them to decompose. The nutrients just stay trapped inside those dry fibers, and your plant literally dies while it's waiting for food. But if you brew them in water, that water acts like a powerful magnet. It instantly extracts all those minerals directly into a liquid form that the roots can drink up on the spot. And there is a serious secret weapon hidden in that onion brew: quercetin. So what exactly is the effect of quercetin on your plants? Well, it's the exact same compound that makes things like blueberries and red wine so good for human heart health. But for a plant, quercetin acts like a massive immune system booster. When you apply it, it physically shields the leaves from the harsh summer sun, and it actively slows down fungal infections to protect your plant from disease. It stabilizes the whole plant during extreme heat waves or sudden cold snaps, stopping stem rot and wilting right in its tracks. I promise you, no chemical fertilizer sitting in a plastic bag is going to do that.
So how do we actually make this onion peel tea to save a dying tomato plant? It's incredibly simple. Step 1, drop a handful of dry peels into a 1-liter jar. Step 2, fill it up with cool tap water. Step 3, just let it steep at room temperature. You're waiting 24 to 48 hours until it turns a deep amber color. That deep amber is your visual cue that the minerals and the quercetin are fully dissolved. Then, just pour this liquid right around the base of your tomato plant. And how will your plant change after watering it with this tea? What are the exact signs it's absorbed the brew? Within days, you're going to see noticeably thicker stems, significantly darker green leaves, and the flowering process will actually accelerate in just a week's time. Honestly, you should probably try this onion peel method first if you want a quick, easy win for your garden. That brings us to Section 3, the miracle of rice water, and how it builds the soil ecosystem. While our onion tea feeds the plant directly, our next ingredient feeds something arguably even more important: the soil itself. We're talking about the cloudy water left over from washing raw rice. Now, a lot of people just dump fresh rice water right out of the bowl into their potted plants. That's a super common mistake. Fresh rice water is very mild. It has a pretty minimal impact. So, why is fermented rice water better than fresh? Well, the real magic happens when you let it ferment at room temperature in a sealed jar for 3 to 5 days. What you're waiting for is a slightly sour, yeast-like smell. The second you smell that sourness, you know you've created a biological explosion of beneficial lactic acid bacteria and wild yeasts. To put that into perspective, look at this number: 1 billion.
That is the number of living organisms swimming around in just a single teaspoon of healthy soil treated with fermented rice water. This whole concept traces back to the incredible work of Dr. Cherio Haga, who discovered that these effective microorganisms practically awaken the soil. The starches and sugars in the rice water act as an absolute feast for the microbes hanging out around your plant's roots. You aren't just giving the plant a quick meal here. You are building an entire, self-sustaining, working kitchen down in the dirt that will continuously feed your plant all season long. All right, section 4, nitrogen from veggie scraps. This is the fastest acting nitrogen source you can get.
But hey, what happens when your plant simply doesn't have time to wait for the soil ecosystem to rebuild? It needs food like right now. Back in the 1840s, a German chemist named Justus von Liebig proved a concept that literally changed agriculture forever. It's called the law of the minimum. Basically, picture a wooden rain barrel made with slats of wood that are all different heights. That barrel can only hold water as high as the shortest piece of wood, right? It's the same for your plants. If your plant has plenty of potassium and phosphorus, but it's lacking nitrogen, its growth just completely stops at that exact nitrogen line. And let me tell you, in almost every backyard garden, nitrogen is that missing piece of wood.
Luckily, all those rotting veggies sitting at the bottom of your fridge right now, the mushy tomatoes, the wilted spinach, the bruised cucumbers, they are absolutely packed with nitrogen. So, how do you actually compost this nitrogen from your kitchen scraps? Easy. Step 1, crush those green scraps into a 5-gallon bucket. Step 2, completely submerge them in water and weigh them down with the plate so they don't float. Step 3, let it all ferment for 2 weeks. The bacteria will break down the plant cells in a process called nitrogen mineralization. But how do you actually know when your veggie scrap brew is fully ready? Well, it's going to look dark and cloudy, but more importantly, you'll get this unmistakable, pungent, earthy smell. That strong smell is your exact sensory cue that it is good to go. Next up is section 5, proper manure tea, using the giant tea bag method.
Now, if your plant is severely deprived, it might be missing 5 or 6 nutrients all at exactly the same time. For that kind of extreme rescue, take a look at how targeted you can be with different animal manures. You basically take dried, cured manure, put it into a burlap sack or an old pillowcase, tie it off, and drop it like a giant tea bag into a 5-gallon bucket of water for 3 to 5 days. Look at the options here. Just a cup of chicken manure tea can force a stunted tomato to burst into bloom in a week because it's so high in nitrogen and phosphorus. Cow manure? Fantastic for building long-term soil structure. And how about making rabbit manure tea? Well, rabbit manure is the experienced gardener's absolute secret weapon. It provides a nitrogen that is so incredibly gentle, it is completely safe to use on your most fragile little seedlings.
But listen to me very carefully on this next point, because this is the mistake that destroys entire gardens. Why shouldn't you use fresh manure for your manure tea? You must strictly avoid fresh manure from any animal because it contains extreme levels of ammonia. It will literally burn your plant's roots to a crisp within 48 hours. Plus, it introduces invasive weed seeds and dangerous pathogens from the animal's diet straight into your garden beds. You absolutely must use manure that has been fully cured and composted for 6 months to a year before it ever goes into your tea bag. Seriously, no shortcuts on this one. Finally, we arrive at section 6, keys to success. We're talking dilution and timing strategies. Because here's the deal. Even the absolute best natural fertilizers will destroy your garden if you apply them incorrectly. What are the precautions when using these teas to avoid burning the roots? The biggest mistake people make is getting overly excited and pouring these super potent brews directly onto the plant leaves or dumping them straight into the soil undiluted. That is a one-way ticket to irreversible root burn. So, what's the dilution ratio you need to note? For your veggie scrap tea, you must dilute it 1 part tea to 30 parts clean water. It should literally look like weak iced tea. For your fermented rice water and your manure teas, the ratio is a bit stronger at 1 part tea to 10 parts water. And remember, always apply the liquid directly to the root zone in the soil. Never, ever spray it directly on the leaves. Also, timing is absolutely everything. What is the best time of day to water with these brews? Well, modern soil science proves what old farmers always knew. Applying these liquid fertilizers in the cool hours of the early morning, or exactly 1 hour before sunset, is absolutely critical. If you water in the midday heat, the nitrogen will literally evaporate right into the air before the roots can even drink a drop. Applying it in the cool evening air guarantees that the soil retains those nutrients for slow overnight absorption.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to think about just how much power is sitting in your kitchen right now. I mean, an average kitchen produces more nitrogen in a week than a small garden needs in an entire month. To summarize, we've got 5 incredible natural fertilizers straight from your kitchen waste. So look at that forgotten, yellowing plant in your yard. Before you reach for the shovel, ask yourself, which of these zero-cost, trash-to-treasure methods are you going to brew up today? Like I said, maybe try that onion peel method first to get a quick win. Whatever you choose, don't throw away that trash. Turn it into fertilizer, and let's keep those old gardening traditions alive.